Hello everyone, and welcome back. In this video I wanted to talk about the way I approach destruction and how I approached this one specifically, and the way I separated layers and how I broke things down so it's easier and manageable for me. So when I first look at the model or from the choreography of the animation, I know what's going to happen. I know the piece or the parts that is going to be affected or revealed the most, and I would start by adding details in there if there's not enough, or talk to the modeling department and convince them to model this thing properly and add enough details for me so that it looks interesting. The other thing is it needs to be destruction ready. It needs to be RBD ready. So any collision or any intersections needs to be carefully handled, and there should be a very little gap between the geometry, between the pieces, and this helps with the bullet intersection solving in the beginning. I just noticed you can see the wires here too. Cool. So when I look at this at something like this, I look at the biggest blocks, the biggest pieces, and let me open the turntable. So this is the building, okay, and I would look at this and say, okay, this wall is the big part. This is going to be a main driver force in the sim. These guys not so much. They're probably going to be driven by whatever motion is going to happen to this. They're not, if we directly hit these guys, they don't have enough force or connection to pull this or affect this. You could even destroy this whole thing and they would probably just fracture this way and nothing happens. But if you fracture this whole block would be affected. So I look at the potential or the strongest pieces of in the sim, in the building itself, like realistically. So if we destroy this whole thing, this bricks, there's like a a floor or something here that is going to start falling, and if that happens, these guys will also be affected. So basically I look at it, it's this block and this, the bricks, and this. Now you would say, well, this guy will also be affected. Yes, it will probably be affected quite a bit, but it's not going to drive what's happening to the sim. So even if we blow this whole thing, the building, nothing will happen to the building. It will just crumble and fall down. And if we carefully and nicely work this, the bottom up idea and or the bottom up and most important parts, and make them look and behave in a very interesting way, anything up above will start just falling up, falling in order. So what I've done is I did the sim for just this block, focused on that, got the nice bending motion that I needed. Where is it? Yeah, so you can see it here. You get this nice bending motion, and that's basically what I spend most of my time trying to get this block to look as nice as possible, so that everything else after that will just be a result of this motion. So and then I did the primary sim, and this sim is just to get the primary motion. There is no details. It doesn't have a lot of pieces. It's not going to have debris or anything. It's not going to have secondary fracturing. It may have secondary fracturing, but it's nothing. It's not the primary focus of the sim. And with this pass, let me move this out of the way. With this pass, I get the primary motion, the major pieces that needs to move nicely. And with this, I will set up constraints. I will do all the bending, everything needed to get the things to behave properly. Once I'm happy with that, I do the upres. No, not interior details. When I want to express interior details, I will explicitly say interior details. When I say upres, I mean take a block of pieces that is made of these guys, this, and convert it. Instead of one piece, I'm gonna convert it into 100 pieces, okay, so that I have more information to work with, and or this block. And as pardon me, and as it separates, it can start activating the smaller pieces, or the up-res details that I need to reveal, and that's how we get secondary and third fracturing, or more if we wanted to. Now everything else, once I get the primary layer, I up-res and then do the sim, everything, and make sure everything is looks interesting. We're going to talk about the challenges as we get closer to that. Now all these bits and pieces, all this light stuff, anything that is light, wood frame, glass, tiles, rooftop, probably even the wood structure up above here, pardon me, anything that is light, even the ground, I am not going to include that at all, except in the end. Okay, I'm not going to use any of this in the sim, so that way I have a primary base sim that only uses the biggest core blocks, and this is something I can easily iterate on, I can easily fracture. After that, I take that geometry and up-res it, add more pieces to it, and use that primary sim to drive my secondary sim, and then start activating the new pieces based on a new logic that we're going to set up on SOPs. The primary logic here for these pieces to start activating is how much separation happened between the blocks. Okay, so here you can see as it separates, you can see here that guy, one side got separated and it starts activating. See here, it starts activating. We're gonna do this all in SOPs, and we're gonna store the information about when a block of pieces separates. We're gonna start activating them so they become active. But not only that, as they become active, they're going to continue to erode, they're going to continue to crumble, and that's how we get this nice crumbling effect even when a piece is static. I'll show more examples in a bit. We're going to get continuous crumbling, but we don't want to crumble or activate everything, because that will lose. Okay, if we take for example this block, you see it activated these guys. Okay, this is the first block. These three guys got activated based on a distance logic. These three guys activated, and then these guys activated. But look, this guy will never break again. Okay, maybe one or two pieces from it, but it will never break again, because we need to contain, we need to keep a core for the sim. If we let everything erode, it will just become crumbles, it will just become dust, which is a very interesting effect that actually we'll talk about later. But you can get into a bed state where you lose all the volumes, you lose all the clusterings. I also don't want to lose this guy, I don't want to lose these guys. So we have to tell the system that, hey, you have only this area that you can activate, and then everything else is not, you cannot touch. Okay, so we're gonna set up rules like that. After we're done with this up-res sim, we're gonna use it to drive the lighter stuff. So once I have all this up-res, it will not include by default the wood, it will not include the glass, it will not include the tiles, it will not include the lamps. We're gonna set up system that will attach or use the primary sim to parent itself to, but still become active. Okay, sorry, this is a bit complex, I know, but I will try to explain it as we get there. For now, don't worry too much, but the idea is this lamp here has a root. This root is going to be parented to this pillar no matter what. Okay, but the front part is active. This guy, okay, the window is attached to this, but these guys here are not. So this wood piece is actually attached to the neighboring piece, but this piece is attached here. So we can still get the movement, okay, from there, and all this in the center will still be active, so it can still interact. But I'm not gonna focus on that too much at the moment. We have to first grasp this idea and how we're gonna use it. Now, for as to my approach, that's how I approach things, especially if we wanted this level of details. And then there's a lot more tricks for fracturing, a lot more tricks for adding details, a lot more tricks for upres, and there is another very weird idea that I will leave for later because I think it can get you guys confused, but I'll say it briefly, and you guys, it's fine if you don't fully understand the concept now. This piece here, this upres guy that you see there's a lot of details, was not in the sim at all, was not in the primary sim at all. I used a proxy geo to represent its thickness, and then I swapped that, the low res proxy from the primary sim with a high res version. This is not upres, this is swapping, which is something completely different, and we can use it to create something much more complex in terms of visual. We can push the level of details even more, but you don't have to worry about this nor the parenting of the secondary object. For now, the idea that I'm talking about is to create a primary sim. Once we're happy with that, we're going to upres it. We're going to set up rules to trigger activating secondary pieces or pieces based on various conditions from the sim. Now I'm going to talk about the this in some diagram form and some graphs to explain the workflows in Houdini and what we have available in Houdini 17 and stuff like that, and then show various videos from the R&D for this project, and then we're going to talk about Houdini 17 RBD fracture nodes and the new stuff added. Thank you guys for watching, and see you in a bit.